Yeah, and I was just
Yeah.
like, "Can you just jump in the water for me?" She was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, sure."
Yeah, that's cool.
And she was like wearing all this white, and I
Yeah.
was just like, it's very gratifying to see a picture that you're like, okay, this is really. It was kind of, it turned out really well.
Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Michael Beer, and alongside of me is my co-host, Ed Fletcher. And we're here to make you next up. We have an absolute electric episode coming to you guys this week with Lila Childs. Ed, how you doing?
I'm doing so awesome, Michael. Today was a pretty stressful day.
Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
say we've done a lot. We had course registration this morning. Luckily, Mike and I both got lucky. We got all of our classes, but so all of our Fairfield listeners know how stressful that is.
Absolutely.
But like Mike said, our guest is Lila Childs. If you're wondering how we came to meet Lila, she is a friend of one of our previous guests, Carly Williams. Lila was a model for Carly a couple times. And Lila also does makeup, which we will get into a little bit later. Lila, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I got my first vaccination shot today. A little tired, but the sun is shining, so I can't complain.
Exactly.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome.
Lila, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I am 19 years old. I go to Santa Clara University, but throughout all of my years of high school and now college, when I'm not a student, I am a freelance makeup artist, and I started my own like freelance makeup business and sort of like content creation type of thing called Makeup by Lila. And there I kind of do like curate my own photo shoots as well as provide makeup services for weddings and other events. And then I'm also do fashion editorial makeup as well.
Awesome. Yeah, Ed, you want to get us started?
Yeah, sure. So as you guys know, our first question, every single podcast, Lila, what inspires you to make yourself next up?
I think I like once this weird kind of interest sort of clicked with me when I was 11 and I realized that I could do this as a career. I was kind of, I would just say to myself, this is what I'm going to do. I kind of know it. And also because at this point it's been so long, I'm kind of like something needs to work out. But
Right.
I, if you can see, my room is filled with like it's covered in magazines, and I would just go through them, and you see, like, you open up a Vogue and it says makeup by whoever, and I want that to be me one day, makeup by Lila Childs on a Vogue cover, or like go to Paris and do the makeup and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wait, that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
To, kind of like manifest that. Like Ed, you manifested having a good day today. We didn't have a good day. No, we did.
I did. We had
just a stressful day.
we have a whiteboard in our room and we had to wake up at 6:45 today for registration, like I said. And on the board I wrote, I didn't even know what I wrote.
I think you wrote just today's
going to be a great day.
And it was.
It has been a good day so far.
But back to your point, I mean, manifesting stuff like that, I mean, it's important, right? And I mean, so you've been doing this since you were 11 and now you're 19 and it's been 8 years and it's like, well, I'm still manifesting it, but it's going to happen. I mean, it's bound to happen, especially if you put the time in.
Yeah. And I think there's something to be said where like, this is such a niche interest, especially from, where I am in Fairfield County. I didn't play lacrosse. I wasn't in that kind of typical scene. And I was okay with that, but it's kind of an icebreaker, and you tell enough people that you want to do this and that you're going to, that it kind of forces you to hold yourself accountable. Like, okay, I've told every single person that I know that this is what I do. It's on the internet. Like, what happens if I don't? Nothing terrible, but it's kind of motivates you.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you kind of get into the whole makeup and art world? Was it like from parents, or what was it?
My mom is an art advisor, so she helps sell art for private clients. And it's kind of like an interior designer, like, here's this blank wall, like I want like an Eleanor Calder, like a Yayoi Kusama, and she kind of helps them like find artists. So I just grew up going to, I mean, just every single museum between every European major country and every like city I've been to in the United States, I've been to the museums there. And so that exposure to art was just like ever present in my, like, as a child and even now. And then I think that just like, I guess that permission from my parents to like that art is okay. It's a career path. Like it is very fulfilling, kind of, I guess subconsciously made me feel okay becoming interested in this. I loved the Hunger Games. I was like one of those huge Hunger Games nerds. And when I went to go see the movies, I think I remember like the makeup was such an important part of like how Katniss's like career, or I mean character development sort of happened. Like each, depending on her makeup look, like that was what she was embodying, like if it was like more relaxed or whatever. And so I think I went home and I was like, I'm gonna do all of the makeup from Catching Fire or whatever.
Which is
that's really cool.
And then I just like, I never stopped. I don't know, I can't remember like honestly a time in my life where I haven't been doing makeup before it was like before the age of 11. Like
right, that's so cool. So I mean, not just for me, but for anybody else listening too, is that what fashion editorial, makeup editorial is like changing the way a character develops through makeup? Like kind of?
Yeah, I would say so. I think like when there's a lot of makeup artists can go into a lot of different fields. There's like TV and film makeup. So like you have people like doing, you know, just like the Today Show has a makeup team and like they do their makeup. And then you have special effects makeup artists. So like The Walking Dead has like a huge team and they work with like prosthetics, etc. SNL has a really cool like YouTube series about their prosthetics team. And then you have editorial and fashion makeup artists who they have a little bit more free reign. It's definitely more of like a beauty artistic standpoint. It's not necessarily for like just
character
like
development and such like that.
Exactly. And the Hunger Games had a very extensive makeup team. Val Garland, who is amazing. She did Princess Diana. She was Princess Diana's like makeup artist, but she also was you know, very integral in kind of designing like, okay, for this faction we're going to do X kind of makeup look because it's going to translate to the audience. So you're exactly right with that.
That's cool. That's actually really cool. Ed, do you want to pull up her website so we can go through it?
Check out so let me bring that up over here. So here is Lila's website. It's literally just makeupbylila.com.
It'll be in the description of this podcast, by the way, and the YouTube as well.
Right. So Lila has her portfolio, which you can see a bunch of different types of pictures. This one's cool, like kind of like black and white.
Yeah.
I know it's a little hard for Lila to see.
I mean, wait, what shoot?
The black and white picture, like the girl on the beach.
Yeah.
Where'd you do that shoot?
So I go to Nantucket Island every summer. I've gone every single summer since I was born. And a lot of my like most favorite photo shoots are from there because I'm able to use like nature and just a backdrop. So this was at a beach right by my house that no one really knows about.
That's pretty cool.
Those
are the best spots.
Yeah, and I was just like, can you just jump in the water for me? She was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
And she was like wearing all this white, and I was just like, it's very gratifying to see a picture that you're like, okay, this is really. It turned out really well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Where did you get the like? How did you know the model?
So she is actually a videographer, photographer. She also looks like Margot Robbie, so that's helpful. And so she is a cousin of one of my friends from high school, and I kind of like thought she was really cool. And my whole Makeup by Lila is a series of me DMing people I have no idea that like we've never met. And I'm like, hey, I do this thing. Do you want to like do it with me? And
no, that's kind of how.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
That's the best part. Ed, can you scroll up really quick?
Yeah.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Right here. Stop. I know it's with the shoe.
Yeah.
And I'm a big person of like finding a photo and like finding something that really adds character to the photo. And in this picture, I don't know if you could see it, Lila, because you're kind of far away. But there's
I know that one.
there's orange right here on the shoe.
There's also the
and there's also just
yeah
the Nike and the
That's really
Nike.
cool.
It just adds so much character. And I know nobody like it's probably so weird to think about, but even here, like the little hair and I just there's just so many small intricacies in pictures that are so interesting.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
They just add so much character to the pictures. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Haley Baldwin kind of did like a Diana, like Princess Diana athleisure type of photo shoot for Paris Vogue, I believe, and I was obsessed with it. So I took a lot of inspiration from that.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you know who Sam Damashek is? Am I saying that right?
I don't know if I do.
Okay, he's a super famous photographer. He doesn't have anything to do with makeup or anything, but he's like a A-list celebrity photographer, and
Okay.
he does everybody. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. Wait,
Cool.
Is there anything else other than the portfolio?
Yeah, let's go back.
There's you're on fashion, I believe, and then if you click
The
portfolio,
Go to beauty.
if you put your mouse over portfolio, you can go to beauty, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there
So
we
these
go.
are like more portraits.
Yeah, so I kind of separated my website into those two
Nice.
because as I sort of grew, I got more into just like styling as well and doing full body, but obviously I started
Right.
makeup.
So
makeup focus. So
yeah, these seem to be more makeup focused pictures.
yes, exactly.
So you did the makeup for all of these and then photographed it?
So I do makeup, photography, editing, styling, hair.
That's so cool.
Wow.
Direction. I don't have, no one's ever helped me, but
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
That's really cool.
Wait, that's actually
these
really
are cool.
I think the braid character. I'm telling you, character. The earrings character.
Yes. Well, I know it's I think I haven't looked at my website in a little bit, but it's really nice to like see it come together. But I've also never used hired models. These are people that have no agent. They're like normal girls.
Right.
Which I was like unintentional. I mean intentional because no one, not a assigned model isn't gonna like come to me, but
right. It's still really cool.
Yeah, it's right now I like it because I think there's like that message that like you don't have to be a model like in the true definition of it to translate really well in a photograph and like be beautiful. You don't need that like legitimate title. And it was just nice because I got so close with all these girls because I think like that registered with them too. They were like, wait, I look like this, I can do this. And
right.
kind
of gave them something to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it provides value.
Yeah, that's really
awesome. I love that one with the water. That's actually funny. I
that's
her
really
a glass
cool.
of water and I asked her to pour it on her head.
What was her reaction to that?
She's like, I mean, people, it's like we're already here, so like, why not? And I was like, just slowly, like I was like, it'll look really good when we're done. But this happens. I'm like, wait, can I like paint you gold right now? And like, and it just happens.
No, that's so cool because sometimes you get into like creative, I guess like flows, and everything just flows.
Yes,
and
totally.
Yeah,
I just like I've never experienced it where it's like, okay, let's go to a shoot or go to like a brainstorming session, right? We're trying to create new content for next up. We go to a brainstorming session and we get into like a creative flow and we just flow and
bounce ideas
off each other. And it's hard to do it when you're by yourself, but I feel like creativity is kind of a trained like idea in your brain, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a muscle, and
it is a muscle. You just have to train it
all the time, but you have to just be like, you gotta keep working at it.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So Lila, what's the best city to start a makeup and fashion career?
It depends what industry you want to be in. So if you're really interested in like being a celebrity makeup artist, LA is great. There's kind of the same amount of headquarters as there are in New York City.
Okay.
But you're going to be working more with like influencer clients, like the Kardashians have a a decent amount of recognized makeup artists. They're all in LA. But if you're more interested in kind of like my wall, for example, like all these
Right.
magazine editorials, New York is kind of where to go. There's a lot of modeling agencies, makeup headquarters. Condé Nast is there, which is like Vogue magazine, Porte, Harper's Bazaar. So all the magazines are there as well. You have New York Fashion Week, the Met Gala,
Right.
the list goes on. So there's a lot.
Right.
And even if you aren't like, signed to the wall group and like going to constant Vogue cover photo shoots, there are like more like low key type of job kind of like circulations going on. Like people always need makeup artists. You just don't like think about it unless you're in the industry. But like when it comes down to it, there's like news shows, some like reporters,
Yeah.
there's like a wedding, like it's a weird like thing that people need. And so
Yeah.
a lot of that is happening in New York.
Yeah. People like to look pretty.
Yeah, they do.
It's true.
That's interesting because I mean, a lot of people kind of think that LA is the place to be for anything having to do with Hollywood, right? So
Yes.
makeup is Hollywood, or I guess Hollywood's big on makeup, right? But like it really depends on where you want to go. And it's the same for anything, not even just makeup and the beauty industry. It's just business. New York City, you don't want to be in LA. But if you want to be content creation, LA. Because like for example, Barstool, their headquarters are in New York City. But Dave Portnoy is moving to Miami to create content in Miami because it's really hard to create content in New York City.
It's also hard because of simply because of the weather. It's
Well,
warm all
too.
year round in Miami and LA. And I don't know, people associate those places with kind of like year round
fun.
Yeah.
No, really.
Versus
no, and I get that. And I think I don't know, I think I could never see myself in LA. I think there's a lot of authenticity in New York City. There's like
that's the thing
again,
too.
like I grew up going to these museums and like my grandparents like lived there. There's just like there's something very specific about it that I think is people are there to be authentic, whereas like people in LA are there to not be authentic, if that makes sense. And I don't think that's like, every single person there, but I think you are finding like the film industry is very specific. Like the job of acting is being somebody else. And that's where you're going to do it. Whereas I think in New York City, I think people are there to be themselves. Like, how can I be myself and share that with everyone? And I've found that personally, granted, I like have not lived in LA for a stretch of time. I've just, like talking to other, people in the industry, I found like they'll go to LA because like you said, like that's kind of the drive, but then they always come back to New York, for those other reasons. But it's good to experience both, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they do call New York City the cultural capital of the world. So.
Yeah, no, they do. And
gotta be something there.
So the weird thing is like a bunch of these content creators that are on YouTube, right? I mean, they've blown up in the past 4 years. YouTube's just off the charts, and they're all moving out of LA. Like all the big names are moving out of LA, and all the small names, they really need to be in LA to make it to the big names,
Yeah.
And there
a lot of TikTokers are moving to LA,
and they're not authentic at all.
Yeah.
Like there are videos of people that don't know that they're on camera. They're completely different than when they know they're on camera.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's like two personalities. It's crazy. That's why they call it having a personality. Like, no, that's why they call it having a camera personality.
Right. Yeah.
It's totally different.
All right, cool. So Lila, what would you say is like one of your coolest stories you have from your career thus far? If you had to pick one.
I was 7. I think I was 17 or 8. I can't I was 17 years old, and I was in Nantucket, um, and my cousin, I have a huge family, but like my cousin had just graduated from Columbia Business School, and one of her friends there was going into like journalism. And I got an email from BBC International News asking me if I wanted to be interviewed for a segment on their like for like social media and like a beauty focus.
Mhm.
And I was so confused why they wanted to like ask. I was like, there's a lot of people, like you don't want to talk to like James Charles or someone, but
Yeah.
um I said, I mean, yeah, I'll by all means. And so a week later, a British dude with like a massive camera showed up at my house. And he's like, we're gonna go through some B-roll. Yeah, and I got interviewed. And they just sort of asked me like how, social media has like allowed like me to grow. My Instagram was in there. It was like it's still kind of a fever dream.
Mhm.
And yeah, and then it got published. And I remember because of the time difference, like people in Australia and Thailand started following me
Yeah.
like before it even came on television. And after I got a root beer float at this diner with my mom, and I was just like, life is really good. Like this
Yeah.
is really cool. And I don't it's like one of those things where I mean, it's not like I became viral or anything, but like for me personally, um, I still kind of like pinch myself when like
Mhm.
even stuff like that, like stuff like this happens, or people are like, I want to talk to you
Yeah.
because like what you have to say is valuable. Like
Mhm.
that was like that feeling of
Right.
just
Just like
like I
kind of
felt really
joy
proud.
inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, that's really cool.
It is really cool.
I want that.
I can send you the link. If you
Okay,
want,
yeah.
it's not that exciting,
It'll
but
be in the description. It'll be a kind of an extra podcast. How about that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it. We're kind of out of time, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
It was
cool.
awesome.
So Lila's website will be in the description.
Mhm.
Her extra podcast, which I think is
And
going to
her
be really
Instagram
interesting. Her Instagram will be
handle.
there as well. Our next up headquarters will be there, where you can get the podcast, Instagram, YouTube, our website,
Mhm.
and subscribe to our newsletter.
Mhm.
I think that's it, right?
I think so.
Okay, Lila, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And we
Yeah.
hope to make you next up.